Hi, welcome to Surviving Motherhood. Hey, if you were reading here last week, you may recall that my sons got into trouble and they were grounded. And I saw some really good things coming out of that, and it just seemed like, hey, this is really working out well. Yeah, except for by Thursday night, Joshua failed to see any of the good in his discipline. He was madder than mad. He thought that we should end the sentence sooner. He was threatening that we were making him hate us. And he was pitching a royal fit about not being able to leave the yard and not being able to have electronics. In fact, he said to me that I didn't care. He accused me of not even caring that he was bored. And you know what? The truth of the matter was, I didn't. I didn't care that he was bored, because I saw the discipline that we were handing out to him as so much more important than his happiness at the moment. And I started to tell him as much, but he wasn't listening. He just stormed off to his room, slammed his door, and pitched the rest of his fit in his room. But it was after that, when he was gone and I was able to think clearly, that I began to think that maybe I've pitched my own fits sometimes in God's eyes. Although I hope I never appeared to God the way Joshua appeared to me. I hope I was a little more under control than that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't ever like the discipline I'm going through at the time. So often I will say to God, can't we be done with this? Okay, I learned my lesson. Can we just move on? Kind of like Joshua was saying to me. He thinks he's learned his lesson and he just wants to be done with it. He wants the sentence to be over and life to go back as usual. But the thing is, I don't want life to go back as usual. I want him to learn. I want him to grow. I want him to understand how he can change and how he can do better. And I have a feeling that's the way God looks at me. I think he says, Karen, I know you don't like this. I know it makes you unhappy right now, but you know what? That isn't my biggest concern. His concern for me is about my character. It's about making me more like him. It isn't about my days being easy. And when I began to think about it in that light, looking at it from my parent perspective to my child, and understanding God's view of me, that picture of discipline became a little clearer and a little more hopeful. Maybe you're familiar with the passage from Hebrews chapter 12. It says, endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons. For what son is not disciplined by his father? If you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are illegitimate children and not true sons. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. I'm hoping Joshua will come to that point. How much more should we submit to the Father of our spirits and live? Our fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, that we may share in his holiness. Excuse me. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. So I don't know if you're undergoing discipline right now. It may be correction for some behavior. It may be God's just shaping your character. Whatever the reason is that God has you going through, whatever hardship you may be going through right now, you can trust him that it's for your good, and you will be more like him. You will be more beautiful when it's all over. May the peace of Christ rest upon you today. Have a wonderful, Jesus-ful day.